Former President George W. Bush offers advice and even admits some mistakes in his new book, Decision Points. The book is full of anecdotes and behind-the-scenes details of his 8 years in the White House, including his relationship with Dick Cheney, the aftermath of 9/11, Iraq, and Katrina. Time to let the Willis watchdogs out. Wayne Rogers is the CEO of Wayne Rogers & Company in Pensacola, Florida. Ben Ferguson is a radio talk show host in Memphis, and Matt McCall is the president of Penn Financial. Ben, let's start with you.
Yeah, you know, with his new book, I got to be a surrogate on the Bush campaign. I actually got to work with the president on Social Security reform with Ben Stein. We got to do the town halls. And what I like behind the scenes with him, he's always blunt, and he'll admit it if something's not working. He said, hey, the way I'm doing Social Security reform is not working. We need to change up how we're selling this to the American people. And I think that's one of his biggest regrets. But I like this book the way that it seems like it's going to come out. He admits when he's wrong. He talks bluntly. And it's not just kind of, I was born here, I did this here, and now I'm retired. I think it's going to be a pretty good read.
Well, Wayne, what do you think? I kind of miss the former president myself at this point.
Well, I think some people do. My concern was with the foreign policy. I'm not so sure that he was a student of history insofar as whether we had weapons of mass destruction or not was not material so much as the fact that the Middle East is a quagmire, and when you have Sunnis and Shiites, natural enemies, why do we need to be there? We did not need boots on the ground. We are a sea and air power, and I think that was a mistake.
Well, a lot of people do. Matt?
You know, I actually really look forward to reading the book. I think it's going to be a great read. And what I liked about President Bush versus President Obama, let's say, President Bush last time stuck his foot in his mouth. And I think he's probably doing the same exact thing with this book, maybe saying some things he shouldn't be saying. So it's going to be nice to kind of get a peek in behind the door of the White House and see what really went on. I mean, during those 8 years, there was a lot of ups and downs in this country. So I'd like to see actually what he was thinking while this was going on.
All right, let's move on to the next story. San Francisco passing a law cracking down on putting toys and unhealthy meals for children at fast food restaurants. Toys, that is, will only be allowed to be given with meals that have less than 600 calories and contain fruits or vegetables. The law doesn't take effect until December of 2011. Wayne, help us out here. This is crazy.
Well, it is nuts. It's Jerry, it's the same thing all over again, where the government is in putting themselves in the position of a parent and saying, you know, it's the nanny state operating all over again. It's none of the government's business whether toys should be in the food or not. It's not the government's business whether to regulate all of that kind of stuff. They're taking away the responsibility of individual citizens and inserting the government in a place where they shouldn't be at all.
Ben, you agree?
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I just want to know if Monopoly is going to be banned on these. Or is that considered a toy meal now? Because I like that game that goes on at McDonald's. I mean, if they're not going to let me play Monopoly anymore, I'm going to be pretty hacked off. But, I mean, you know, I laugh about this because people have said with welfare that we should have certain foods that people can or cannot buy when it comes to welfare. You shouldn't be able to go get stuff that I don't even afford to buy. I mean, I was laughing. I was in the store the other day, and somebody was using the welfare, and they bought filet mignon. I'm not even buying filet mignon right now. So if you want to start limiting what people can get, let's start there when it comes to our money, instead of saying if someone wants to go buy 10 Happy Meals, let them do it. I don't care.
Matt, one filet mignon a month, okay? That's all you get. No other food, okay?
You know what? I don't agree with this either. I do think there's an obesity problem, so I see where they're going with this. But again, it's not the right path I think the government's taking. If they should be doing anything, let's educate these parents to say no. You can't have a McDonald's Happy Meal every day. When a kid's crying in the back of the car because he wants a little toy, say no, or going home and eating some veggies. It's not McDonald's fault or the fast food company's fault. It's the parenting that's the problem.
The parenting is the problem. Go right ahead.
We become such a health conscious society with at least people know. People know that fast food or fried food is going to make you fat compared to something that's, I don't know, soy milk, whatever, that has no taste to it. But I mean, they know it. They still choose the stuff that tastes good. If the parents want their kids to buy Happy Meal, let them do it.
You know, that's why I go to McDonald's.
That may explain something.
That's why I go to McDonald's. I only go to McDonald's when I want French fries, okay?
Yeah, you don't go there if you want to be healthy. No one says, man, I want to be healthy today. Let's go to McDonald's this afternoon.
This is an important story. Freddie posting a loss of more than $4 billion for the third quarter today. The government-controlled company Aslo is asking for an additional $100 million in federal aid. Good news, it's less than the nearly $2 billion it asked for last quarter. Wayne, what is going on here? How much money can we give to these companies?
Well, we shouldn't be giving anything to it. This is something else that's out of control. When Barney Frank and Chris Dodd decided that all Americans should have a home regardless of whether they could afford it or not. I mean, you have Chris Dodd making a statement like saying the things like the following. He said at one time, well, this is outrageous. Everybody in America should have a home whether they can afford it or not. Well, you can't have people in the government making decisions about things like that. And here we had Frederick Raines, who was the CEO of Fannie Mae, who was on the take, and Maxine Waters stood up in the Congress and said, this is the most outstanding individual CEO in the United States. And here was a guy who was stealing money at the same time. It's a total fallacy. We've got to get rid of that. You've got to control it in some way. Yes, we should have a secondary market for mortgages, but it can't be run by the federal government.
Matt, what does the federal government do in this situation?
Well, the federal government is basically bailing out the federal government. I mean, Fannie and Freddie are entities of the U.S. government, so they're just bailing themselves out, taking taxpayers' money. And what really irks me about this is a lot of people in middle America, away from Wall Street, always give Wall Street such a very hard time and say we never should have bailed them out. They caused this ruin, that we had this financial collapse. What about the government and Fannie and Freddie? That was the biggest culprit, I believe, in the financial collapse that we had the last few years.
I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. Good conversation, guys. Lots of fun. Thank you so much. Thanks, Wayne, Matt, and Ben.
Thanks for having us.
All right, if you didn't stay up all night like me, can't you tell? Chances are you